Send help! It's the day of the greatest night of the jazz age and I am not ready. What a disaster. Hello and welcome to Couture Chronicles. If you're new here, my name is Daisy, and instead of just dreaming of all these amazing dresses, I decided that I would try and make my very own from scratch. Last episode showed me draping and sewing the majority of the final dress, and look how pretty it is. I honestly can't wait to wear it out. If you haven't seen it yet, you can check it out right here. And if you're enjoying the series, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the action. On today's episode, it is absolute pandemonium. It is the day of the greatest night of the jazz age and I am not ready. So I'm going to pass you over to Past Daisy to tell you all about it. Right, it is the morning of the greatest night of jazz age. I've got so much to do. I've got 7-8 hours before I have to leave to drive to London, so need to start cracking on. I have got a lot of beading to do. I'm definitely not going to be able to finish the whole panel, so I'm just going to have to cheat it and make it into some sort of scraggly star pattern. Great. The main bulk of the dress is sewn together, but there's a lot of seams left undone, and a lot of hemming, and then I need to stitch the beading panel onto the dress. So a lot to do, not much time to do it, and beading takes forever, and I need to get that done because I can't leave the front panel just looking loose and whatever. So let's get cracking. 7 hours, 5 coffees, and 1 mile panic later. Right, I just spent hours beading. Thankfully now that's in a position where I can put it on. You know, it's fine. It's not what I wanted, but it will work. I will make it work. Went to sort of do the next stage and pin it on the mannequin, and I've lost the front geometric panel, the silk one. I can't find it anywhere, and I've got this lovely gap which is white, and I can't leave it like that because that will definitely show through the panel, so I need to think of something quick for that. Cue the frantic house search, tears of frustration, and the inevitable yelling at the boyfriend to help me find it. Right, I still can't find it, so we're just gonna patch it. I've only got 30 minutes before we need to leave to drive to London. I am not going to have time to sew all these seams properly, and I definitely do not have time to hem. So once again, we're going with an unsewn hem, shock. I quickly sew the front seam and one of the back seams together using a very wide slip stitch because this is the quickest thing I could think of to do which would hold it together enough to be decent. Nope. I definitely didn't get this all finished before it was time to leave, so that meant sewing in the car. Now, I was so unbelievably stressed out at this point and I had zero idea of how to film in the car, so here is a beautiful reenactment for you. I hope you enjoy my amazing acting skills. So here I am getting into the car, popping my seatbelt on and giving imaginary Alex a bit of grief. Getting myself some imaginary thread next, and using my teeth because in my mad panic, of course, I forgot to pick up some scissors. Don't do this at home, kids. Save your teeth, use the scissors. I'm stitching the imaginary beaded panel on first and really struggling to get that to sit flush on the dress. And that is probably a direct result of trying to sew it in the car. I think if I was trying to sew the panel back on at home, it would have been a ton easier, but needs must. A couple of times I had to go back and take some stitches out because I'd accidentally caught another bit of the dress and sewn it together in weird places, which naturally added to my sheer uncontrollable panic at this point. With the beaded panel all done, I attempt the other side seam and I get about halfway down this and I stick the needle in the door to get myself some more thread, and when I come back to get the needle, it's disappeared and I've lost the needle inside the car. So cue some frantic searching around the car to try and find the needle, which, as you can expect, is about as good as trying to find a needle in a haystack. And I can't find it. One of the side seams is half sewn, but there's literally nothing I can do about it because I'm on the way to the greatest night of the jazz age and I do not have a backup. There's nothing else to wear, so I am just gonna have to rock it. I do have 5 pins which were holding the beaded panel in place, so I used those to pin the side seam together, and yeah, I'm just gonna rock the dress with 5 pins holding one of the seams together. Hey, despite all of this stressing and all of the chaos, this is how I looked. And I know I'm biased, but I think it looks pretty awesome. I don't know, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Again, like the twirl, I think the cape is my absolute favourite part of the dress. Honestly, I can't explain how powerful it makes you feel when it's like billowing out behind you. It kind of makes you like stand up taller and gives you more sort of like gumption and presence about you. It's so cool. And despite it being a bodge, I do feel like the sun ray beads is also really pretty. Apologies for the really terrible footage. The Greatest Night of the Jazz Age did a really epic job of creating this dark, moody club atmosphere, which obviously meant no flash, but I've colour edited these as best I can to try and give you more idea of what was going on. I did get quite a lot of interested glances. I hope it's from people admiring the dress, but it could also be because my dress was full length and almost everybody else was in knee-length flapper styles, so I did stand out a little bit. Because of all the stress from running around trying to get the dress done in time, it did take me a while to just relax and start enjoying myself. But our bar seats were fab because the main character, Belle Livingston, the bar owner, came and sat with us for big chunks of the show, and also the bar doubled up as a second stage which the dancers used a load, which was so cool because all the dancers kept interacting with us. And at one point, one of the dancers actually picked up my phone and in a really, really fake New York accent went, "Hello? No, she's not at home." Which, I don't know, just these silly little things stick with you. For bar seats, because all the other tickets are dinner tickets and the reviews for the food didn't really light us up and we're really big foodies, so we went for the bar seats instead. However, what that meant was that there were large chunks of time where there was no performance going on while people ate, and for us it meant these big sort of lulls, and any excitement that we had kind of built from the performance really kind of struggled to start getting going again. They did a fantastic job with the show. Just something to bear in mind if you go for a bar seat instead of a dinner ticket like we did. The website also promised world-class jazz, which is why I was so excited to go, because I love jazz. Well, also because of the opportunity to dress up, but world-class jazz is a big claim, and if you're going to make big claims, you better follow it up. And if I'm giving an honest review, the jazz was kind of a bit pedestrian. I mean, I think it was probably great jazz if you're not really all that into jazz, but you appreciate how it adds to the 1930s atmosphere. It was a bit sedate, and I think they were going for this, you know, smooth, smoky vibe, but The Greatest Night of the Jazz Age is supposed to be a recreation of the wildest party of the Prohibition era, so I was expecting big energy and funky solos, so kind of didn't really deliver that for me, sorry. We still had a great night though, and a really good boogie. But throughout the evening, my back fastening started to break. You saw the fastenings I put on. They were absolutely solid, and it wasn't the fastenings themselves that broke this time, but the thread I used to sew them on. By the time I got off the tube and back to the car, I had 0 fastenings left. Alex had to give me his jacket so I didn't flash anyone. What a disaster. Technically, I did achieve my goal of making a dress to wear to the Greatest Night of the Jazz Age, and you could be forgiven for thinking that we're ending it there. But I can do this better, and I want to achieve the initial vision and wear it finished in all its glittering glory. So I'll be back next week where I'm going to talk about everything that went wrong, pull the dress to pieces, and see what we can think of to fix it. In the meantime, keep being fabulous, and I will catch you next week. Bye! Drive to London, I am not going to get all these scenes